Hello to all my dear followers. Welcome to the third season of What If Naruto Fall in Love with FEM Sasuke and Pretend to be Weak? As always, if you want more seasons, please continue to support the channel. Enjoy!
Everyone was standing in front of the newly completed bridge. With the help of Zabuza, Haku, and the shinobi of the leaf, the bridge was completed in only a few days. Kakashi was watching his favorite student with his best friend. After the night Suzuki shared the room with Naruto, looked like something interesting had happened. The silver-haired man was surprised when they saw the raven-haired seem to be friendlier a little. Of course, she was still Uchiha Suzuki, somewhat cocky and aggressive. He also noticed that Suzuki was clingy to the blonde boy. She followed him like a lost puppy and helped him do most things, saying that he'd not fully recovered yet. It could give them a hard time and he needed to get some rest. Naruto, who was always a nice boy and a gentleman, obviously refused that because he didn't want to let a girl do so much for him. But he finally obediently followed her orders after she pinned him with her spinning Sharingan glare. Those added so much amusement for Shino, Haku, and even Zabuza as the Kiri shinobi teased two of them things sound like lover bird or tsundra. That caused the Uchiha a great deal of embarrassment and snarled at him. For Kakashi, he was just silently watching the duo and thought about something that only he knew. As all good things must come to an end, Naruto and his team said goodbye to the villagers. The blonde boy even earned some hugs and kisses from Tsunade and some ladies. Of course, it was on the cheek, but it still made Suzuki growl. She then approached and snatched him away from them, giving them her deadly ferocious Uchiha glare before dragging the boy with her by pulling his ear again. Naruto also gave all the money he, Kakashi, and Zabuza took from Gatu's house to the Land of Waves to help fund the place and get everyone back on their feet. And now it was time to say farewell. Again, I apologize my actions caused you any harm. Haku bowed as she addresses the two youth sitting before her. It's okay, Haku-san. You just did what you had to do. Don't worry about it so much, Shino said. He understood the girl's actions. She, after all, was just protecting her not only master but also precious person. Suzuki, however, made no comments but held her glare firmly on the gentle face of the woman that had nearly killed her teammate and crush. How can they trust her easily? And that idiot, he was nearly killed and now he just acts like nothing happened. She huffed quietly but Haku could still heard every words. She chuckled inside. Haku was a girl too. She knew what the raven-haired girl felt for the blonde shinobi. Haku was interested in it and she couldn't stop herself from wanting to tease the Uchiha a little. I understand your concerns, however. She fell into step beside the blonde whom she had just pledged her allegiance. I'm Naruto-kun's friend and as such would bring no harm to those he holds dear. Suzuki had to take a pause at the new piece of information, her face contorting into sheer disbelief and bewilderment. Since when did fucking she called him Naruto-kun? Naruto was sweating at the blank look on Suzuki's face while Kakashi looked at them amusingly. Zabuza, though his face was covered by bandages, Naruto knew he was smirking with a smug. Shino just sighed and shook his head amusingly. Suzuki growled in anger and turned around a certain boy who was trying his best to look anywhere but at his teammate and slowly inching his way away from the Uchiha girl. Moron! Explain now! She snarled angrily. Naruto cursed his luck, shooting an unamused glare at Haku who merely smiled and rocked herself on the balls of her feet as though she had no clue what she'd just done. I'm sure she did it on purpose. Why you can, Haku? He shouted inside before turning to Suzuki. Look, I know how it seems, but she's not a threat and Kakashi-sensei is okay with it. He tried to ease the angry girl. Suzuki seemed unconvinced. And she's calling you Naruto-kun because… She ground out the words as though she was trying to chew through gravel. Would you believe that she's just really respectful? The look on her face told him that excuse was not going to fly at the moment. Haku, for her part, found the whole process rather amusing if she was honest. Now she was quite sure what the raven-haired girl's relationship was with the blonde. The ice user could tell the two were much closer than appearances would suggest. Seeing at the Uchiha had been willing to take a hit for the blonde, perhaps there was something deeper going on there. They're really very cute. But Uchiha-san isn't honest with her own feeling and Naruto-kun is so dense. Haku sighed inside. Maybe I should provoke her a little. Excuse me, Uchiha-san. She spoke softly, her generally serene expression causing the bickering duo to pause and face her as she sauntered up to Naruto's side, almost immediately setting said blonde on edge. "Forgive me if this seems rather blunt, but—" She covered her mouth with her sleeve to hide a grin. "Are you perhaps interested in Naruto-kun?" Shino had to hold his choke at the sudden question. He could guess Haku's purpose for it, but this way, Naruto, for his part, had adopted the look of a grizzled war veteran staring far off into the distance, as though he had accepted his fate and was now merely waiting for his inevitable end. Kakashi, who had up to this point been a silent observer, giggled into the pages of his little book as his mask muffling his laughter. He was more than content to watch the drama unfold from a safety position. Zabuza had a little pity on the poor genin, but as like Kakashi, the Kiri ninja wasn't stupid enough to interrupt, and he didn't think he needed to do that. As for our little Uchiha, well reacted about as well as anyone who'd ever met her would assume. Very poorly. What kind of question is that? She sputtered, her face going red in a mixture of shock and embarrassment. Of course I'm not. Haku tilted her head, adopting a faux, confused expression. Oh? I assumed your anger was more territorial in nature, but if that's not the case, she then wrapped her arms around the blonde's arm, placing it right between her chest. Then I'd argue it's none of your business what goes on between me and Naruto-kun now, is it? Naruto wasn't sure he could get any paler by this point. I am his teammate and best friend. Of course it's my business. Haku grinned and rested her cheek against the blonde's, but never took her eyes off the Uchiha, trying to glare holes into her face. Then your input is not required since your commanding officer has given his consent. Suzuki gritted her teeth, raising her fists. Unless, of course, you have some other reason you'd like to share? Suzuki glared heatedly at the smug expression her tormentor sported. She was very much aware that no other argument she could make could override. Haku smiled victoriously when the Uchiha closed her mouth, biting down any retort, instead settling for glaring daggers at the ice wielder. Watch your back, Suzuki screamed. I'm glad we could move past this. She bowed low towards the two, not at all missing the enraged look the Uchiha girl was sporting. The sigh the glassed boy was sending to his friend, or the fact that the boy she was currently holding was near comatose in her arms. And now it was time to say farewell. I wish I could say it'll be nice to have you brats gone, but we're gonna miss you. Tazuna smiled as he gave each member a firm but friendly farewell handshake. Naruto grinned. I guess in the end you weren't so bad for an old drunk. Not gonna miss your smell though, he added cheekily, getting a round of laughs from the crowd that had assembled to see them off and dark mutterings from the man in question. TSK, cheeky punk. Tsunade smiled and gave each member a short hug. We can't thank you enough for what you've done us. You're always welcome to come and stay with us again if you find yourselves in the area. Kakashi and Shino smiled while Suzuki grunted, but offered a small smirk to show her own gratitude. By her side, Inari frowned a bit at the assembled shinobi. Do you really have to go? Seeing Wave Free had shifted his perspective and had pushed him to be better, having joined the village in seeing off the bandits from their dens. He felt like Kaiza would have been proud of him. To see the people who made that change go was saddening for him. Naruto grinned and placed a hand on the boy's head, tussling his hair through his hat. We'll come back and visit someday, but until then we're counting on you to protect Wave and make it better than ever. Can we count on you? Inari smiled and nodded, even though his tears. I promise. He smiled back. I can't wait to see it. Their moment was promptly interrupted when the blonde was knocked over by a crying little girl whom Naruto had helped. He caught her as she cried in his chest. Suzuki narrowed her eyes and grunted at the girl. Oni-chan, don't go. The little girl hiccuped and he smiled. We talked about this, didn't we? You have to stay here. It's a great place. Villagers'll take good care of you and your friends. You can write to me regularly as I have left my address with them, and don't worry about anything. Ask for anything you need there and I'll take care of the money, all right? I'll come visit when I can. Now I have to go, he said softly. She nodded and went back as Tsunade picked her up, and he nodded to her with a grateful smile. What are you going to do now, Zabuza-san? Naruto turned to ask in a polite tone. They could have once been enemies and Zabuza was a missing nin, but Naruto still gave him the respect as a shinobi. Plus he saved and took care of Haku, his new friend. We will come back, Kirigakure, and join the rebellion, Zabuza said firmly. Team 7 knew the truth about Zabuza's the Mizukage assassination. Kakashi shook his head. Then you're out of luck. The civil war's over. The Yonde Mizuki's been killed and replaced with a woman called Terumi Mei. It seems she was in charge of the rebels. Zabuza's eyes bulged at that information. Terumi Mei? Really? He shouted incredulously. Naruto raised a brow. Yeah. You know her? Zabuza didn't answer the question, he just looked thoughtful instead. So you're successful, Ma-chan? I'm glad for you. Zabuza thought with a relief. Then I suppose I've got other plans. He then turned to look at villagers. I think I and Haku will be in here and protect this land. His answer surprised everyone. Haku seemed like she'd like that. It will be better than we continue wandering everywhere. I'm starting to feel tired of all the meaningless fighting. Besides, he chuckled, I have the duty of a father to fulfill now, after all. He rubbed Haku's hair, who was now blushing from happiness and embarrassment. Oh, Kakashi, I smiled. So the deadly demon of Kirigakure has become a harmless puppy now thanks to a little girl? Say that again, and I'll show you harmless. Zabuza growled, though his voice was more playful than menacing. Kakashi just giggled. Kakashi then looked at him. Anyway, are you sure, Zabuza? You know this is still a poor land and it's gonna take a while to restore damages from Gatu's actions. I know, but villagers still accept us after we cause them troubles. Tsunade's family treats us well, though we just tried to kill their old man, and they even helped me take care of Haku. No way I can repay them enough, he said, looking at the girl who always followed him and patted her head. In addition, it's dangerous for us to travel or come back Kirigakure now, especially Haku. I also don't want to let her bloodline be taken advantage of by someone from the former council. Our best choice is being here in this land as Wave doesn't have ninja. Kakashi nodded. I see. I wanted to ask you for joining my village, but it's unsafe to do that. At least now. Suzuki and Shino were curious about his words, but Naruto knew what he was implying. The Konoha elders with a certain mummy and the civilian council. Anyways, Zabuza spoke out. He stepped forward with an outstretched hand. Nice to meet you, the copy ninja Hatake Kakashi. Kakashi blinked a little before he eye-smiled. Nice to meet you too, one of the 7 sword man of the mist, Momochi Zabuza, and he shook his hand. Tsunade smiled fondly at Jounin and looked over the completed bridge. Now to name the blasted thing? Hey everyone, how does the great Naruto bridge sound? The roads of approval from the villagers was deafening and Naruto blinked at him in surprise. Tsunade-san? I can't. The old man held out a hand. Nonsense. You won't accept a reward for saving us from not only Gatu and his goons, but those shinobi as well, so this is my compromise. Zabuza grinned at the blonde genin. The brat looks so happy. Indeed, Naruto's face had broken into a massive grin, and he extended his hand to Tsunade, which the old man shook eagerly. After a few more goodbyes, the Konoha shinobi turned to leave. As they vanished into the high noon sun, Inari glanced down the book that he received from Naruto as his goodbye gift. The little boy grinned at the title, How to Be a Ninja. On the inside of the front cover, there was a small message from Naruto that increased Inari's grin even more. This book will guide you on the path to becoming a true ninja, a protector of the innocent, a true hero. It won't be easy, but never, ever give up. Your big brother, Uzumaki Naruto. 3 days later, the Hidden Leaf Village. Team 7 made their way back towards the leaf in about 3 days. Once they arrived, they went to the Hokage Tower to report their mission to the Sandaime Hokage. Kakashi was going to go alone, but Naruto wanted him and his best friend to go with the Jounin, while Shino decided to come back his home as he wanted to talk to his father. The blonde was sure Makoto and Izumi were waiting them in the Hokage Tower. Before they came back the village, Kakashi must send a preliminary report to the old man. It was the rule of the Hokage. Before nightfall, Kakashi, Naruto, and Suzuki stood inside the Hokage's office. As expected, the Uchiha clan head and her eldest daughter were there. Kakashi started recounting their C-rank becoming a rank mission again, and for the first time seeing the old man so shocked and angry in their young lives. Makoto and Izumi also looked at them unhappily. From your report, your team tangled with Momochi Zabuza, The A-rank missing nin of the Hidden Mist and Naruto almost died in the fight against a Hidden Mist kunoichi, Yuki Haku. The Hokage growled in a displeasure voice. Kakashi nodded calmly while Suzuki and Naruto were nervous a little. The girl wasn't used to see her mother and sister upset, and the boy didn't want to deal with angry Uchiha women. Makoto nearly exploded. Hatake Kakashi, give me one good reason why I shouldn't have your head here and now. What were you thinking at that time? Uchiha-sama, we were doing our first mission. You know it's not a good thing to abandon it. Kakashi replied gently. Kakashi, this is an A-rank mission, not C-rank. You have to know it's so dangerous for your team, and your students could have been dead. The Hokage hissed. Yet it hadn't happened and all three are still alive. They're a special team after all. It's not a worthy excuse for putting your team in any danger, Kakashi-senpai. Izumi snarled. They could go on for hours like this and there would never be a victor in their arguments. The fights would only stop when someone came with some important work for the Hokage or he had to leave for a meeting. Naruto should have guessed this would happen as he knew how protective the Hokage, Makoto, and Izumi. He decided to interrupt. GG, Makoto obeison. Izumi-nichin, please don't blame Kakashi-sensei. He spoke out and three adults turned to look him. Continuing the mission was Team 7's decision because, like Kakashi-sensei said, that's our first mission. I don't deny it was a reckless one, but it wouldn't be good if we went back to Konoha and left Tazuna-san there. He could lie about the mission parameters, but because all the money all of Wave Country had was enough to pay for C-rank mission. The blonde boy stated in a calm voice. And people have no objection, which means we all agreed to continue the mission. Thought we knew it was an A-rank mission and Team 7 was willing to do whatever it took. The Hokage sighed at him. I know, Naruto, but it was still so dangerous. Not to mention you were nearly dead. You know I won't die that easily. Naruto replied with a foxy grin, then looking down and grabbed his stomach. After all, I have my tenant inside me. He said with a quiet voice. Kakashi, Hiruzen, Makoto, Izumi. Their looks became sorrowful as Naruto considered his jinchuriki status. They felt grief and guilt for the boy's life as he had to carry that weight on his shoulders since he was born. The Sandaime Hokage felt even more sorry that he was Hokage, the leader of the Hidden Leaf Village, but he couldn't do much for him and Naruto never complained so much or bore a grudge against him or villagers who mistreated and abused the poor boy. The young boy even agreed to become a Konoha shinobi and dedicated here to protect the village. The Hokage sighed but then smiled. Alright, I suppose it is reluctant and apparently Kakashi didn't have a choice as all agreed. He then looked the lazy ninja. I will put it off to you this time, Kakashi, but make sure you'll be more careful the next time. Naruto was lucky to be alive because, well, he's special a little. Hiruzen didn't know Naruto told the young Uchiha about the fox, so he avoided talking it. But if it was Sasuke or Shino, it would have much greater consequences. He said with a firm expression. Yes, I see, Hokage-sama. I will be careful next time, Kakashi replied seriously. All right, and now? The Hokage turned to Naruto and Suzuki. I suppose you two have something to tell us, Naruto. You fully know it's unnecessary that you go with your jounin for the report of the mission. Naruto grinned at him. You're really sharp for your age. Izumi smacked his head for disrespectful words, but Naruto still smiled with pleasure while the Sandaime was sweat dropping. Makoto, Kakashi, and Suzuki sighed at his antics. You have something important to tell you, but at first, can you dismiss all ANBU? Just let Izumi-nichin in here and add a privacy seal to this room? Please? Hokage-sama. Everyone in the room tensed up. Naruto rarely called Hiruzen with his tittle unless he was really serious. This was a great importance. The Hokage was startled a little at his knowledge of Fuinjutsu, but he still dismissed his ANBU except Izumi, and everyone then sensed some chakra being applied to the room around them. The privacy seal. Meanwhile, Naruto looked forward, eyes closed, and he sniffed the air. There was something off about the office. Hey Kurama, you sense this? He asked the fox telepathically. Kurama, who was laying lazily on top of his hand-like paws, nodded in response to this. Yeah, 3 to 4 listening seals. It looks like someone found the loophole and began to listen from the inside for quite a while now. He explained with detail. Just apply a little of my chakra to enhance a roar and it'll destroy them easily. Good thing I brought those earplugs for me in case I needed them," Naruto said with his prankster-like grin he was infamous for. "Why did you have those in the first place?" Kurama asked with a sweat dropping. "There is many interesting things in the storage seal I'm bringing," Naruto answered mischievously. "Weirdo." Naruto refocused on people in the room. "Please wait a little, everyone," he softly called out, getting the two's attention. The Hokage raised his eyebrows as he looked at the blonde genin. "What is it, Naruto?" Hiruzen asked as placed his hands behind his back. Naruto didn't answer, instead he gave him some earplugs. "Here, put these on," he whispered lowly as he then turned to others and handed them some as well. "You guys too, don't ask why. I'll signal when you can take them out." Izumi would had questioned this, but seeing the serious tone in his voice, she and others placed them in their ears. Then Naruto placed them too. Just as he did so, Naruto rubbed his neck. "This is going to be a pain in my throat," he thought as then he began to gather a very small amount of the fox's chakra and sent it to his throat. This quickly alarmed the Hokage, but he saw that Naruto was look away from both him and everyone. He realized what the blonde genin was about to do as the two then cover their ears for further safety. Naruto took a deep breath and let out a high-pitched scream towards the listening seals were located at, and they instantly were destroyed by being exposed to the tailed beast's chakra. In an unknown place, 3 people that were listening in became deaf by being exposed to the high-pitched scream. While this was happening, a certain mummy frowned at the sight at the bleeding ear men. Once Naruto saw that the deed was done, he made a motion to his ears that meant that the old man and everyone could take the plugs out. "Naruto-kun, what just happened? What was it that you just did?" the old man asked, taking the plugs out of his ears. "What's burning?" Kakashi asked as he did the same. Everyone then finally noticed the smell of paper burning. "What's that?" Suzuki asked curiously. Naruto then took off his ear plugs out and placed them back into his pocket while he was rubbing his throat with his hand. "Knew it!" Naruto groaned as he walked over to one side of the room and picked up a half-burning piece of paper and showed it. "What do you think these are?" "I'm quite sure you guys know it, GG. Mikoto Obasan, Kakashi-sensei." The Hokage stood up and walked around the desk. He took the paper and began to study it carefully with Mikoto and Kakashi before their eyes widened in realization. "Why, these are listening seals. That would mean..." Hiruzen got out with a surprised tone before narrowing his eyes. "Someone has been spying on us, eh?" "In this case..." Kakashi glanced at the Hokage who gazed back and nodded. "Danzo, that war hawk and his root members," Mikoto thought with anger. "Shimura Danzo, that old jerk, and the Uchiha clan never got along with each other." The Sandaime looked around the office before doing a quick anti-listening jutsu to make sure that there was no other possible way for eavesdroppers to listen in this time. "Alright, this room is safe now, Naruto-kun. You can tell now." Hiruzen cleared his throat. Naruto nodded. Then he looked at Suzuki and the girl looked back. On the way, they discussed about it so Suzuki knew what the boy wanted her to do. She felt a little nervous as she would show them. She unconsciously gripped tightly onto Naruto's jacket for dear life as the fear of reactions she could receive made any possible thought process halt indefinitely. Naruto smiled at her and held her hand. "Calm down, Suzuki. They're Gigi and our sensei, your mother and sister. You have nothing to be afraid of," he said softly. "By the way, I'm here for you," he added with an caring voice. Upon hearing this, Suzuki recovered from her anxious-filled moment. She loosened her grip on Naruto's jacket, but she still held it with her index finger and thumb. I see. If you say so." She then turned to Mikoto and Izumi. They were looking at her worriedly. They were concerned about her. "I'm stupid. Okasan and Wanichan are my family. They always care for me. Why do I think some of these things that they will hate me?" She thought guiltily before she slowly pushed churka into her eyes. They switched to 3-tomo Sharingan, and then it transformed into the Mangekyo Sharingan. Mikoto and Izumi widened their eyes at that scene. "No way! That form! But how can she get it?" The Uchiha prodigy wondered as she looked her sister in shock. The youngest awakened Mangekyo in the clan was just 12, and that's Izumi-chan. Mikoto thought as she bit her lip. But even Suzuki-chan. Why even my youngest daughter too, for God's sake? The Hokage just stared at the little Uchiha. His knowledge about the bloodline of the Uchiha clan was limited, but he still knew about thing that was Mangekyo Sharingan, or cursed eyes like Nidaime Hokage called them. Naruto felt the tension in the room and knew that they would want an explanation now. Well, he cleared his throat. Everyone simultaneously turned to him. Because it's difficult for Suzuki to talk about them without making her feel uneasy. I'm telling for her now. He started explaining. Like everyone knew, Team 7's mission turned from C rank into A rank because of the presence of Momochi Zabuza. He has an apprentice naming Yuki Haku. She is the last one of Yuki clan in the hidden mist village and a powerful kunoichi. In the fight against her, I was hit by her bloodline technique and nearly died. He then looked at Suzuki, who was holding his hand tightly as that memory came back to her. And unluckily, that scene happened in front of Suzuki's eyes. He said sadly, looking down a little. Mikoto and Izumi looked in horror when the Hokage became somber. That girl and rookie kunoichi a genin, and she was young. But she had to witness the death of her best friend in front of her. No, not only a friend. All of them knew Suzuki's feeling for Naruto was more than a normal friendship. She just didn't admit it for her pride. They'd been extremely close since they were in the ninja academy. The youngest Uchiha wasn't a society type, so she didn't have any friends. People she tolerated were her family and the blonde boy, who was always by her side and helped her so much. The 5 years were enough time for growing a friendship into a certain new relationship. Naruto became one of her precious people. Plus Suzuki was too young to control her emotions. No wonder it snapped her enough for activating the Mangekyo Sharingan. 2 times, same person, and she awakened Sharingan. Then Mangekyo. Kakashi glanced at Naruto. Suzuki's feeling for him is enough strong to affect on her emotion and bloodline. He's really your son, sensei. He thought with an eye smile. Formerly you and now your son. Like father, like son. The Hokage smiled sadly at his memory about a certain blonde Hokage, then gazed at Mikoto. It's never a good thing that an Uchiha has their Mangekyo Sharingan. I hope Suzuki-chan wouldn't get it because of her safety. But again, Naruto-kun has something to do to it. The female clan head sighed, but she then looked at her daughter with a smile. But it's also for him. I feel better when he's around her. I've not told anyone how I awakened my Mangekyo. Rather, I don't want to recall it. Look like I and my little moon have the same cause. Izumi remembered that night. That day, October 10th, aka Naruto's birthday. Villagers congratulated on the victory of the village defeating the Kyuubi, and Kyuubi haters, including some civilians and shinobi, were more wicked and ferocious than normal. They would hunt the poor jinchuriki down, beaten and humiliated him badly. That day, a jounin crossed the line as he slashed Naruto's back by a sharp kunai, then stabbed him a lot while he didn't stop insulting him something as demon or clanless until Naruto didn't move anymore. At that time, Izumi always saw Naruto as her lovely brother, so those images snapped the Uchiha prodigy. A pure rage and hatred boiling in her, and before she knew, her Mangekyo Sharingan was activated. She then used her greatest genjutsu and forced that jounin to go through his worst nightmare before she finished his life slowly and painfully. That was the first, and she hoped the only time she let the hatred consume her. Izumi still remembered she had stabbed that jounin again and again, even though he had been long dead, with a bloodlust grin. She wouldn't stop. If she hadn't heard a voice calling her, she had forgot his tenant and thought Naruto had died. When she had looked up at him, it had haunted her until now. He had looked anxious and surprised, but Izumi could see a little fear in his eyes. Naruto had been afraid of her. He had thought she would hurt him. Since then, Izumi devoted herself to control her feelings, and she wouldn't let her anger and vengeance take control again. She didn't want to see that look in his eyes anymore. It had followed her in her sleep all that week. It made her hurt so much. One more thing. Naruto spoke out, got the attention again. I talked to Suzuki about my tenant, and Shino knew it. The Hokage cringed. Naruto-kun, you dash before Hiruzen said anything. Naruto shook his head. I know, Gigi, you're not wrong when you said that I should keep it secret. He eyed the old man seriously. But Suzuki and Shino are my teammates. They deserve to know about it. Naruto retorted sharply. though Shino unexpected found out by his bugs. He mumbled with a pout. Hiruzen, Mikoto, and Kakashi sweat dropped at that. Izumi looked amusing with that. Oh, and don't worry, Gigi. They will keep it secret. It's not like they have a gut to break your law. Right? Sakshin. Naruto winked at Suzuki, which made her blush and looked away. Mikoto and Izumi giggled at that. The Hokage side, he should have known that the Uzumaki would reveal the truth about the Kyuubi to his teammates someday. In fact, Hiruzen felt relieved to learn that. That was the reason why he put Naruto, Suzuki, and Shino in the same team. Make sure you won't practically reveal it, Naruto, unless they're trustworthy people. The Sandaime stated sternly. I understand, Gigi. I still want to keep my head after all. Naruto replied with a carefree smile. Suddenly, Suzuki thought of something and she spoke out. Hokage-sama, I can ask, why is it Naruto? Surely there can be many other people the Yondaime Hokage could use to contain the beast for him. Why used a baby who had just been born? At this time, Izumi was wondering the same thing. It wasn't her first time. Every ANBUs and Jounin learned about Naruto's jinchuriki status, but most of them didn't knew about the reason he was chosen. Izumi heard a lot about the Yondaime Hokage, Namikaze Minato. She could see that he wouldn't do anything without having a specific reason. Hiruzen, Kakashi, and Mikoto, however, knew it better than anyone. They looked at each other awkwardly, which wasn't unnoticed by Uchiha sisters, and they narrowed their eyes. Suzuki, Kakashi voiced quietly. There is a special reason for that, and it's a SS rank secret. It means it isn't allowed to release arbitrarily, and if you ask why. Once more, it's for Naruto's safety. But that's so unfair. The youngest Uchiha got out as she began to feel an uncontrollable fury building inside of her. Villagers think he's Kyuubi because they can't get over the fact that it's sealed in him. He shouldn't have a scapegoat to be killed. Not to be abused as a sick, twisted way of revenge. She yelled her declaration. Suzuki, show Hokage-sama some respect. Mikoto scolded her, but Suzuki ignored her mother. Hiruzen looked down in shame. I understand that you're upset, but Yondaime had his reasons, and he didn't want me to reveal it. At least not now, as Naruto need time to improve his ninja career. The Hokage's answer couldn't placate the anger of the Uchiha. Before Suzuki could shout some more, Naruto put his hand on her shoulder. That's enough, Suzuki. Naruto said softly. It's not like Gigi doesn't want to tell me. I understand the value of the promise. Gigi has his words, we shouldn't give him a hard time. By the way, I believe Yondaime-sama had a good reason, and I'm happy. He trusted me enough to choose me the jinchuriki of the Nine Tails and protect the village. He stated with a foxy grin. Naruto. Adults couldn't help feeling heartwarming. The Uchiha matriarch smiled slightly at the blonde boy. Of course he trusts you. You're his son after all. The son Minato and Kushina-chan love more than anything in this world. She glanced at the Hokage. The said man had a soft but a little sad smile on his face. Kakashi just looked away and said nothing. All right, I suppose it's enough today. Everyone can leave now. Hiruzen said. Team 7 completed the mission successfully. You guys will have a week off without missions. Get some rest or training, whatever you guys want to do. Hi, Hokage-sama. Everyone bowed before all them left, leaving the Hokage in the room with his thoughts. Naruto, Suzuki. Is the history repeating itself? And he glanced at the picture of the Yondaime Hokage. After leaving the Hokage Tower, Naruto took the opportunity that Izumi and Mikoto inquired of Suzuki about her Mangekyo Sharingan. He sneaked away and went to his favorite place in the library. When he came, he didn't see the librarian anywhere. Maybe she is out here on business, he thought. Naruto went upstairs, coming to his secret base. Naruto entered into and he made sure the door was blocked carefully. He put a privacy seal. After everything was done, Naruto started talking to someone. All right, no one can disturb us now, Naruto said with a sigh. Though it's not like there is someone eavesdropping us. Ashura, it never hurt to be careful, Naruto. By the way, I don't want someone to find me out so soon yet, Ashura sing-sang. TCH, she will reach us one day, sooner or later. Kurama grumbled annoyingly. How the hell can you hide your presence from that girl? She even can find the old man when he lowered his chakra until I couldn't sense him. Ashura just giggled. It's one of my special techniques, dude. I mask my chakra and blend into Naruto's chakra, making myself invisible. Unless One-Isama's transmigrant uses Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan on Naruto with intense concentration, or she will never find me. He completed with a shit-eating grin. Naruto and Kurama sweat dropped. Was that really the successor of the Sage of Six Paths, Otsutsuki Ashura? He's really your ancestor Kit. You two are childlike in most aspects. Oi, what's that supposed to mean? The young Otsutsuki and the Uzumaki invoked. The fox sighed in annoyance. Why the hell were those two idiots supposed his old man's successor and the child of prophecy? Anyways, why are you here, Ashura? I know Naruto is your transmigrant, but don't you think it's a bit early? Kurama stated with narrowed eyes. Ashura just sighed, then turned to look the fox. I know, but what could I do at that time? That Yuki girl injured Naruto, accidentally released my chakra and a part of memories in his subconscious mind. In addition, his expression became firm. I can dimly feel One-Isama's chakra growing in that little girl. It won't take long. Kurama and Naruto both turned serious. Coming back in the wave when Naruto met Ashura in his mindscape. The Uzumaki was shocked as he found out the Sage of Six Paths was no myth, and the story about his two-child, Otsutsuki Ashura and Otsutsuki Indra, and their conflicts. More surprisingly, according to the Otsutsuki man, not only Naruto was his descendant but also the Shodame Hokage, Senju Hashirama and the Senju clan, while his best friend, the legendary Uchiha Madoka and the Uchiha clan were his older sister's descendants. No wonder he said it was memories. Naruto, though thoughtfully, or rather, they were memories in my previous life as Shodame-sama. Hey Ashura, he called and the said person paid his attention to him. Can you tell me more about what you talked to me when we were in Wave? Because Naruto was talking to him outside so he couldn't see. But Kurama, who was in the mindscape with Ashura, caught a hint of pain and sorrow on the Otsutsuki's face. He, of course, knew the reason for it, but it wasn't his position to tell about it. It would be better if he let Ashura do that. It was his job to pass his stories and knowledge on the young boy. The conflict lasted too long and it needed an ending, now and then, but good end or bad end. It belongs to Kit and the Uchiha brat. The fox thought. Meanwhile, Naruto was still waiting patiently on his ancestor. He didn't know how, but he felt a little delicacy from Ashura and he didn't want to press him. Naruto was not ignorant to the cause for his speechless. Who didn't feel something distasteful and upset when they had to recall their bad memories, especially it had something to do to their sibling. Naruto was an orphan, he wasn't sure he could know how Ashura feel as he even didn't know about his parent. But he was his descendant, he still got a little discomfort. You know you don't need to tell me now if it makes you feel uneasy. The blonde spoke out. You can tell me later or I can find it out myself. Ashura shook his head. I'm grateful you think about my feeling, but I have to tell you. Not all I think because I need a little time for myself and you're not ready for some information. However, I make sure I will give you enough what you need in the future. He stated with a serious tone. Naruto, how much you know about the curse of hatred? The next week, Team 7 head off to recover from their A-rank, supposedly C-rank mission. They weren't allowed to receive any mission higher D-rank ones, much to both Suzuki's displeasure, but she didn't have to spend it in the ninja hospital either and she could took the time to train, so that was a great big plus. They had had a hectic week since getting back from the mission in Wave. After learning that Suzuki unlocked the Mangekyo Sharingan. Her sister trained her using Sharingan much more than before, but not too much about Mangekyo. Izumi and her mother usually came to the library of the Uchiha clan to find documents or scrolls for prevent her eyes from becoming blind. For Naruto, he and Suzuki maintained their rivalry, but the Uchiha girl had become much more protective of him and rarely let him out of her sight. She overreacted to civilians who mistreated the Uzumaki sometimes, and even was going to attack them a few times. Of course, Naruto was always there to stop her. He was glad she defended him, but he didn't want her to get herself into trouble as they were ninja, and they couldn't do anything harm the villagers unless it was self-defense. The blonde usually called her by nicknames as Haim or Sakshin, which made Suzuki pleased because she felt that she was someone special to him. She would never told it out though. Fire style, Dragon Flame Bomb, the Uchiha shouted, holding the tiger seal. The massive burst of flame was more controlled, but not mastered. And the jutsu still left her breathless and exhausted. On a more positive note, the absorption/protective seals Naruto put on the training grounds prevent her and him from causing too much devastation while training were working. She had probably paid half the cost of her house in reparation expenses. That went well, Naruto said. He was still watching her training attentively from the start. Suzuki turned to him and looked down. I do not have enough chakra. She gritted her teeth. That's obvious. You just did a B-rank fire jutsu, which most of normal genin don't even try because it consumes a lot of chakra. In fact, you can manage to do that in more 1 hours. It's a big step for you, he said with a foxy grin. Suzuki, however, shook her head. In battle, she started, the jutsu leaves me vulnerable. It's the main reason that Haku girl nearly defeated me. Yet, there could be scenarios when I need to use it, right? Naruto was just quiet, unable to respond. I know that with training and determination I can get my reserves up, and now I have the Mangekyo Sharingan. But I still find difficult to gather enough patience, she concluded, starting her usual conditioning set. In addition, I don't want to feel useless and weak anymore. I don't want to have to helplessly watch as my most precious person in my life is dead right in front of my eyes. I need to be stronger, and I will surely protect you on our next missions, she thought to herself. Suzuki was taken out of her thoughts as Naruto approached to her, putting his hand on her shoulder. You are pushing yourself? He said in a gentle tone. I understand your desire for making yourself more stronger, but it'll be very easy to counteract if you're impatient. Everything needs its time. By the way, I think Kakashi-sensei actually wanted us to rest this week. He isn't that deluded. He gave us the week off because he wanted to read his porn in peace, she replied annoyingly. Naruto chuckled amusingly. That's likely, he commented. I have some ideas. Would you like to hear about it? Of course, Suzuki replied quickly. All right. He started with a serious expression. At first, I will tell about your strength section. Your technique was flawless and your speed was excellent. Your strikes didn't pack as much power as they could have, but that's something you'll likely be fighting your entire career. As it is, your strength is above average for your age and gender, he informed, and Suzuki smirked at that. Naruto continued. However, I'd recommend you avoid grappling at all costs. Most of your opponents will try to physically overpower you, and you can't afford to fight on their terms. Many kunoichi employ weapons instead of relying solely on taijutsu for just that reason. You may want to consider picking up some kenjutsu. Izumi-nichan is your big help now. The raven-haired girl nodded. I see. I will ask One-ichan later. Yeah. And I'm sure Kakashi-sensei will help you. He used to be in the Umbu Black Ops, so he surely has a little experience in kenjutsu. He then turned to look her. In addition, your elements are lightning and fire. The library of the Uchiha clan surely had basic scrolls for techniques, and I'll also give you some tips that I got from my collection. Your collection? Ah, they're books from the library. I see, Suzuki said quietly, her cheeks flushed. She never felt happier than now. Thank you, Naruto. She smiled a rare, sincere smile. No problem, Sakshin, he replied and smiled back. Okay, continue your practice. Now is taijutsu, the Hokage tower. The Hokage sat on a blue padded armchair. In front of him, a table with his crystal ball. On the wall at his shoulder was hung a banner with the symbol of Konoha. In front of him, a small contingent of Jounin and Chunin was assembled. The elderly Hokage quieted the murmuring Jounin with a raised hand, his eyes surveying those present. When he was sure that they focused on him, the Sandaime started saying, as all of you know, the Chunin exam will be coming to Konoha next week. Genin teams from all over elemental nations are trickling into our village every day. It is time for all Jounin sensei present to either nominate or disqualify their teams from participating in the exams. His attention started to waver as Jounin of older Genin teams began designating their students for advancement. Mado Gai, an eccentric but kind-hearted ninja, was the first to nominate his team. He did so in a very exuberant and most youthful fashion. Everyone's sweat dropped with the enthusiastic Jounin. They knew Guy because he had been Kakashi's friend since two of them had been students in the academy. Guy always said that Kakashi was his eternal rival, while the copy Nin usually tried to ignore him. Naruto had a big respect for the thick eyebrows Jounin. Guy had not passed the entrance exam in the academy due to his lack of talent in ninjutsu and jinjutsu. He, however, hadn't given up and continued training. He hadn't let his weaknesses hold him back, and Guy ultimately proved himself to be a late bloomer, growing up to be an extremely powerful shinobi, recognizing as one of Konoha's strongest. I, Sarutobi Asuma, Jounin Sensei of Team 10, nominate Nara Shikamaru, Yamanaka Ino, and Akimichi Chuji for participation in the Chunin exams. Asuma spoke out. Irika gaped softly from his place. What? His surprises didn't stop there, however. Kurenai stepped forward as soon as Asuma stepped back. I, Yuhi Kurenai, Jounin Sensei of Team 8, nominate Inazuka Kiba, Hyuga Hinata, and Haruno Sakura for participation in the Chunin exam, she said. And finally, Kakashi stepped forward and moved his right hand to form the half-ram seal. I, Hatake Kakashi, Jounin Sensei of Team 7, nominate Uchiha Sasuke, Uzumaki Naruto, and Adhering Shino for the Chunin exam. Immediately, everyone in the room directed attention to on 3 Jounin of the rookie team. Most of Jounin senseis of the rookie teams often refused their team in joining the Chunin exam in the first year after becoming genin. Hiruzen let out another puff of smoke, pensively. I see. It's a good thing as all of them join in. It has been years since rookies have taken part of the exam, he said with a pleased smile. Please wait a second. Irika stepped forward. What is it, Irika? Please let me speak, Hokage-sama. I taught 9 of them at the academy, and while each one of them is very talented, it's too early. They need more experience. Hiruzen sighed. He should have known this. Irika had been guarded his students like a mother hen, but couldn't blame him. The Chunin exam was an opportunity for genin to be promoted to Chunin. It was open to all villages, started being held biannually, with villages taking turns for hosting responsibilities. These shared exams improved relations between the villages, present up-and-coming ninja to clients, and create an opportunity for gambling. However, hosting the Chunin exam was a double-edged sword. There was plenty of hidden dangers in the exam and required experience, careful preparation, and much training from genins. There have been cases that candidates was injured or even dead during the exam happening. The number of them was more often than anyone liked to admit. Not to mention the first and second tests was always different from exam to exam. The finals were a no-holds-barred one-on-one tournament. But those were just concerns for the normal genin. Most rookie genins were the heir of their clan in the village, except Sakura from a civilian family, Hinata of the Hyuga clan, Kiba from the Inazuka clan, and the Ino Shikacho trio of 3 clans, Yamanaka, Nara, Akimichi, Sasuke from the Uchiha clan, Shino from the Adhering clan. It would be an underestimation if someone thought that they weren't ready to the Chunin exam. Kakashi half glared at the scarred Chunin. I was half of their age when I became a Chunin. Irika started walking towards him. All of them are different from you? Are you trying to ruin them? He grunted. Yes. Kakashi deadpanned. My genins are always up to a new challenge, so I thought put them in a dangerous situation and possibly ruining them could be fun. What did you? That was a joke. Kakashi said. Irika-san, I value your opinion, and know that you must be upset. But, Kakashi, stop. Kurenai warned. Don't interfere. They aren't your students anymore. They are our soldiers now. But, Irika, this is their decisions. The Hokage then reminded as he looked at the Chunin in the room. You should not let personal feelings get in the way. He then stated in a sagely manner. Irika silenced, then bowed and apologized as he backed down. But his face had an expression of worry and fear. Kakashi then noticed what the Chunin must be thinking as he sighed. Calm down. Our genins are stronger than you think, Irika, he advised. You need to let them be able to grow up. They are shinobis now. He then reminded. They cannot stay children forever. He reassured. They will be fine. Most of them are heirs and heiresses of famous clans in the village, and some have great potentials. I believe they will overcome all obstacles. He added with total confidence. At this statement, Irika had calmed down as the image of every single former student appeared in his mind and ended with the grinning troublemaker blonde. The Chunin could help but smiled at this. Yeah, I think you're right. He replied with calm tone. Okay, good. Kakashi happily responded with an eye smile. The Hokage turned serious once more. All right, this meeting is over for now. Make the preparation necessary for the upcoming exams, he ordered. With that all done, the shinobi bowed and started leaving the Hokage's office. There were just jounin of 3 rookie teams, Guy and Irika. It's been 7 years since the last time rookie genin teams joined the Chunin exam after they had just barely graduated for a few months. This is unexpected. Hiruzen commented amusingly. Yash, let our genin all go brighten the flames of youth with their youthful vigor. Guy exclaimed and everyone's sweat dropped. But I can't help concerning about them. Irika got out. Everything can happen in the Chunin exam. He then glanced at the silver-haired jounin, especially Team 7. Shino is an adhering and Suzuki is from Uchiha clan. You know the rivalry between 2 clans. I know, Irika, but there is no other way. In addition, if Suzuki wants to become a Chunin, she will have to get used to working with the other fellow shinobi, because her family will not always be around her. It will be difficult, but necessary for her, the Hokage stated. Don't worry, everything will be fine. He then glanced at the silver-haired jounin. From what I heard from Kakashi, Naruto helped Suzuki get along Shino. Irika chuckled. I should have known it. Naruto is still the only one who she is awfully close to and listens to, he said with a soft smile as Kakashi and Hiruzen couldn't help agreeing with him. Meanwhile, the others couldn't help but stared in shock at them. That was a given. Everyone knew about Uchiha Suzuki and her circumstances. She was antisocial, indifferent and cold towards everyone except her family. Everything became more curious since she got along with the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. She still had the same icy attitude towards everyone, but the youngest Uchiha had become much brusquer. She lost her patience with people easily. They heard about some cases of students beaten out of it by the raven-haired girl without reasons. Some civilians blamed for the blonde boy for her changing attitude and claimed that he corrupted her. If only they knew the reason Suzuki did that, because those students insulted Naruto and called him by names. She was just overprotective of her best friend. The only one viewed her as herself, while most just kissed her ass because she was the daughter of the Uchiha clan head. It seemed there was something special in Team 7 which they didn't know, and they also wondered about Uzumaki Naruto. They didn't know much about him except his tenant, and he was an orphan. Asuma was the only one among them who knew the truth about the blonde boy's status, as his father was his good friend. But that was all, as he didn't know about his relationship too. In the academy, Naruto had been the Uchiha's classmate, and their relationship really intrigued everyone. Both usually argued and insulted each other by names, and then they was seen going together as if nothing happened. They just thought there was a normal friendship between children, but looked like it wasn't simple now. Suzuki, who was from the Uchiha clan, a honorable clan in the Hidden Leaf village, was ready to hear and contact with an orphan, an outcast in the village. Guy approached the silver-haired ninja. Kakashi, a word? Hearing Guy calling from his side, Kakashi turned. Yes, what is the relationship between 2 of your students? He asked, talking in a stage whisper that had Kakashi sweat dropping. What did you do to them? Kurenai was the next. Did you threaten them with torture to get them to behave or something? A sweat drop appeared, and Kakashi wondered how was it that he was always accused of being the insane one. Is that what I'm thinking it is? Asuma asked, his intent clear in his eyes, and the silver-haired jounin thanked his lucky stars that there was at least another sane person here. Ma, you seem troubled by it. Why? Kakashi asked curiously, not seeing what could possibly be bad about this development. If anything, nothing better could have happened. He just wondered when it had started and how he hadn't noticed it before now. We are not troubled. Far from it. We're just curious as to what would cause such a thing to happen, especially for someone like Uchiha Suzuki. Asuma explained. And with Naruto, after everything I heard about them in their academy days. Is there a problem it's with Naruto, if it is what you are thinking? Kakashi asked in a nonchalant tone, but his eyes said a whole different story. Both Suzuki and Naruto were his students. He had been ready to die to protect them. Not only them, but his adhering student. As I told you, I am simply curious. I have nothing against it, especially if it's with Naruto. I think that it's a pick not even I could have paired up better. They seem pretty compatible to me. And, pausing a little, Asuma continued. You know, the kind of bond. What is everyone talking about? Guy asked, both he and Kurenai puzzled. Irika must have gotten it, but he stayed quiet, probably wanting to confirm his own guess. They didn't see anything strange here other than the Uchiha actually making a friend. The Sandaime sighed, not knowing how to begin explaining this to people who have never felt such a connection to anyone ever before. It was rare as it was, but for an Uchiha to feel it, it happened once in a generation, if at all. Well, you see. Oh, how do I explain this? Asuma tried to find the words, so Kakashi took over, only to realize he, too, didn't quite know how to explain it either. You see, Naruto and Sasuke, they could bond through their relationship. Kurenai widened her eyes. You mean to say Uchiha Sasuke and Uzumaki Naruto are a couple? Asuma's cigar fell out of his mouth as he choked on the smoke he had just inhaled. Hiruzen and Irika face-bombed. Guy suddenly looked delighted. That is wonderful news. Love is blossoming in the springtime of life. Hooray for eternal youth. Hooray for free love. You thought them well, Kakashi. Now Kakashi had joined the other two face-palming men, not believing his ears as he looked up to regard the beaming and crying man who called himself his eternal rival. Although it surely has my complete support, unfortunately not, Kakashi said with a sigh. If it is about Sasuke, maybe she really get a thing for Naruto, but because of the Uchiha clan's annoying pride, she doesn't openly admits it, and I'm not sure about our dense blonde. He then looked out the window. However, after the first mission of Team 7, I saw something interesting and I can surely confirm that they are on the way to become something more than friends. And it isn't not only some kind of boyfriend and girlfriend. What do you mean? Hiruzen sighed and was about to take over, but Kakashi shook his head at him. He had started it and he was damn well going to finish it. I'd like to talk a little bit about their life. All focused on Kakashi when he started. Like you know, Naruto is an orphan and Sasuke is from one of the 4 noble clans of Konohagakure, the Uchiha clan. Like usual, everyone worships Sasuke and Naruto is ignored and mistrusted for. I'm sure you guys know about it. Kurenai, Guy, Asuma frowned and nodded. Villagers viewed Sasuke as a goddess, a mighty princess who needs respects, but Naruto didn't. He just sees her as Uchiha Sasuke, a normal girl and kunoichi, no more and no less. They even spar sometimes and Naruto is always the winner. Everyone was surprised. The rookie of the year lost the dead last. But Asuma and Irika just smiled softly. They knew Naruto was a hidden genius. Not only Sasuke, but he is close to the entire Uchiha clan in the present time. Everyone can think they do that for his tenant, but Mikoto-sama really wants to protect him, and I'm sure everyone heard about rumors of the Black Guardian of the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. It's Uchiha Izumi. More one unexpected information. Who could think of the Uchiha prodigy was the shadow ninja who struck fear into mobs and anti-Kyuubi's hearts. When did the Uzumaki boy become very precious to Uchiha? Come back with Sasuke. She and Naruto aren't simply best friend to each other. She was aggressive with students in the academy because they took her bad side by insulting Naruto. And our blonde never cares what others tell about her, and he treats her as a friend. A true person. He saw her as Uchiha Sasuke, not the youngest daughter of the Uchiha clan head or the little sister of the Uchiha prodigy. They trust each other, and even ready to die for the other. I believe their bond is more stronger than what I think and expect. Kurenai, Guy, and Asuma were rather taken aback. They didn't realize how deep their relationship went. Except the Hokage, Kakashi, and Irika, as they seemed to realize that a long time ago. Irika, do you knew that? Asuma asked as he noticed the scarred Chunin wasn't not surprised. Yes, I knew it for a while. It's not really difficult to realize. The look Sasuke secretly gives Naruto. She surely feels something for him, Irika answered sincerely. However, looks like Naruto's quite obvious and doesn't notice it. He finished with a sweat drop. Kurenai sighed in annoyance. There were still so many men who was thoughtless and indifferent to a lady's love for them. She silently glared at a certain jounin who turned away to avoid her look. I have no doubt that Sasuke have had some special feelings on Naruto for a long time. Kakashi spoke out. But it might or might not merely the normal crush of a teen girl for a boy, I think. What do you mean? Guy asked confusingly. Kakashi looked them, then spoke. Well, you both must have heard of shinobi developing a team mentality. Yes? Of course. It's the reason we put genin in teams of 3 after they graduate from the academy. What's that got to do with what's happening with Uchiha now? Kurenai asked, getting impatient. Why won't he just say it plainly? A shinobi can develop a team mentality, but they can also develop a partnership mentality. Asuma finally took pity on the black-haired woman and explained in plain terms. Like those with a team mentality become attached and protective of their team members. Those who develop a partnership mentality come to cherish one person more than anyone else, sometimes even their own family. They might be extremely protective and possessive of that person, and even if they had or get their team mentality developed over time, the third party or even the entire team will be less important than that person in the eyes of that shinobi. That still somehow sounds like a lover to me. Guy commented, arms crossing his arms. Just like your most important person can be your sibling, your sensei, your pupil, or your best friend, your partner can be all of that as well as a lover. It's a very thin line that can easily be crossed, and your partner can become your most important person. Irika explained, even though he was only going on rumors. He himself has never felt such a connection. But isn't that kind of bond a little dangerous in a 3-man team? Kurenai asked in suspicion. I mean, the 2 partners will help each other. But what about the third teammate? Or if it's not a shinobi from their team, what about the other 2? Won't they be in a direct line to danger since the shinobi will firstly look out after their partner? It won't be that bad if a shinobi manages to develop a team mentality as well. However, for Suzuki, that's going to be a bit harder, plus she is an Uchiha. Oh sure, she will protect Shino when he is in danger, she already has, but it's more thought than instinct to do that. For a partner, Kakashi explained, a shinobi doesn't need to think before putting their own life in danger if it meant saving their partner, and Naruto was the best proof for this. The bond between him and Suzuki existed without even being aware of by themselves. It, however, only gets stronger over time. The Hokage went on. The longer the bond is acknowledged by both partners, the stronger it gets. At one point, the partners will be able to sense each other from across villages, say, from here to the hidden sand village. They will know how to complete each other's moves, sentences, thoughts, and will be aware of each other on a whole new level. Some even say that partners must be able to eventually communicate mentally, but that is nothing more than a false rumor people have started up to make other shinobi fear such partnerships. And because they can read each other so perfectly, there is more than enough reason to fear them. Imagine one ninja having 2 bodies. That is the extent of their bond. Unbelievable. Even Irika hadn't heard of something like that. I suppose I should talk about something interesting I had found out in my team's mission in the waves, and then everyone can see that my words aren't wrong. Then, Kakashi started talking about his mission with Team 7, about the C-rank mission turning an A-rank, which made Guy, Asuma, Kurenai, and Irika paled. How the hell were they alive when they had bumped into an A-rank missing Nin and his subordinate? Even when they had a Jounin in there, it was very reckless. Ignoring their disapproval looks, Kakashi still continued with his presentation. He told about Inari's father and the kid's slightly overreacted words. Then Suzuki's outburst with that words and Naruto's reaction at that time. Finally, their battle on the bridge and that Naruto almost died trying to save Suzuki. The Uchiha awakened her Mangekyo Sharingan in there and she nearly killed Haku in cold blood. If it wasn't for Naruto getting there in time to stop her, everyone couldn't help shocking. Too much had happened for only a short time. A genin team had done an A-rank mission in the first travel outside the village. A member of the team put his life on the line for his teammate. Then the said teammate went rampaging up and wanted to avenge her comrade, and no one could prevent her except that said companion himself. I see. Guy spoke out. That's not so strange, then. Teams bond most on missions. The more dangerous it is, the better it is for making friends and comrades. Honestly, I'm a little surprised with it, Kakashi said, scratching his head. Suzuki and Naruto are just 12 years old. They could know in years, but the speed of developing bond nearly has the unimaginable. I see, Asuma muttered under his breath. It would seem that their bonding is developing so quickly, and we never even noticed. Well, if I were to think real hard about it, it wouldn't be too surprising, Irika confessed. Ever since she was little, Suzuki was burdened by her sister's shadow of greatness and high expectations from her father and clan. Kids tended to give her space. Some admired her from afar, while some were either jealous or wanted to use her to become more popular. Suzuki was almost always alone in a group of people, because even when they were crowded around her, they weren't in her personal space, let alone touching her. But one day, I saw her and Naruto getting along. Then it gradually developed a very close friendship between them. They're inseparable. They're there for each other. So they created the bond sooner than we thought. Kakashi said, looking doleful. Yep. Irika nodded. Back when they were my students, that's the most interesting I've ever seen in Suzuki. All the other students would gush over her and call her name, talking to her, but she would ignore them as if they were less than particles of dust someone should have cleaned up. Then Naruto walked into the room, and she immediately focused all the attention on him. Then it might as well be irreversible if it has been going on this long. Asuma huffed out, but isn't it good for Suzuki to have a friend like that? I agree with Kurenai. They are now in the springtime of their youth. They should be making bonds that will last them for the rest of their lives. Have you forgotten just what it means for an Uchiha? Guy's eternal rival asked with a half glare. Of course he would forget. Guy hadn't had to deal with Uchihas in his lifetime. And that was only up to now. What are you saying, Kakashi? Kurenai asked, and Asuma staying quiet for now. He fully knew what Kakashi was mentioning. Just looking at his father and his expression, no wonder Kurenai didn't know and he supposed Guy forgot it. The déjà vu which the younger of Sarutobi felt when Kakashi was telling about his students was still fresh. It's hardly surprising as you don't know Kurenai, as not many people know about it, the younger Sarutobi said as he narrowed his eyes. Or they just don't want to believe in it. Hiruzen stayed quiet for now. He didn't fully understood what it means for an Uchiha to have a partner. He knew about them and their most important persons, but he never got to ask Uchiha about it. It had seemed cruel to ask Mikoto, who was still having a hard time since she had been pulled away from her blonde teammate, and so suddenly. What I can say now, Kurenai, don't underestimate Uchiha and their feelings, especially Uchiha in partnership mentality. Kakashi stated while he was looking up a certain blonde's picture. They can do everything for their precious people, even killing for them. Kurenai and Guy widened their eyes. The silver-haired Jounin continued. Suzuki and Naruto's case is not the first one. This bond type appeared many times, and the nearest one. It may be not as strong as my students, I think. But, coincidentally, one of them is an Uchiha. Kakashi recalled his past, and it wasn't the death of Obito. They were what he had heard from a few Konoha shinobi in the front line of Third Shinobi War. Minato-sensei had to separate from us and headed to the front lines. He met up with the surviving and outnumbered Konoha ninja and single-handedly wiped out the opposing Iwagakure forces. They nodded. No one didn't know about the battle that created the reputation of the Yellow Flash of the Hidden Leaf Village, and that battle convinced the Third Satsukage to accept a peace treaty. However, it's not the whole truth. Kurenai, Guy, and even Asuma and Irika became confused by Kakashi's words. What do you mean, Kakashi? Guy asked. Some shinobi in the front line talked to me. According to them, Sensei indeed confronted with 1,000 IWA ninja with the flying Raijin Jutsu, but it was still outnumbered and he was severely wounded in the battlefield. Kakashi stated. So, in that situation, he was not strong enough to keep on fighting, and the size of IWA shinobi was about more 400. Everyone became tense and more curious. From what they heard, Iwagakure forces were wiped out and none survived. I know everyone is wondering. Let me continue. They refocused on the Jounin. Minato-sensei was injured and couldn't continue his battle. That was true, and he could have died if it weren't for his teammate, Uchiha Mikoto. Kakashi tried glancing at their expressions, and he had to say that it was quite humorous. You guys hear correctly, Mikoto-sama was there. She is elite Jounin, rivaled only by her husband Uchiha Fugaku, Minato-sensei, and Uzumaki Kushina, so I think it's not an exaggeration. The silver head cleared his throat. Observers said that the battle had turned into a grotesque massacre soon afterward. They claimed that Mikoto-sama went into battle, her eyes just lost all sense of life, and she would become an emotionless killing machine. She didn't speak, didn't react if she was injured, Hell, they believed she stopped breathing entirely when they saw her like that. And when the fighting ended, she'd go back to normal and act like nothing happened. All remaining IWA ninja were brutally killed without mercy. And since then, in the Third Shinobi War, she has been known as the Dead-Eyed Goddess of Death. Kakashi glanced at the Hokage who just told for him, then turned to Jounin and Chunin, and nodded. Kakashi doesn't mention that Mikoto-san herself helped Minato back for healing. She didn't leave his side until she was sure he was totally fine, and she even was ready to attack anyone getting too close him if she felt they weren't need to be there, including the fellow Kohoha shinobi. Anyways, I think he is right when he decided not to tell about it. Asuma thought with a sigh. Kurenai, Guy and Irika got chills down the spine by what they just listened to from the silver hair man. They knew that Uchiha Mikoto was a very gentle and kind woman, but could also be stern and strict when she needed to be. They knew that the Uchiha matriarch was a talent kunoichi, but elite jounin. They didn't expect that. But again, Mikoto came from the Uchiha clan, and she even was the descendant of Uchiha Izuki, the younger sister of the legendary Uchiha Madoka. It's no wonder. And Uchiha Mikoto was Namikaze Minato's partner. They didn't expect it. Hey Kakashi, talking about Uchiha Sasuke. You said that she was going to clash the Haku girl, but Naruto stopped her. Was she really serious to kill someone? Guy asked, looking from one of his jounin friends to the other. Yes, and I'm sure no one can stop her, including me, unless Naruto himself interferes. Everyone flinched at the answer. Well, that's not really surprising. I have seen many shinobi felled by avenging partners, some of them so strong that they would have been candidates for kages in their villages. Never underestimate the bond between thesis partners. It could cost you your life. I see. Guy, now a little paler than before, muttered. Not only him but every jounin here felt complicated now. They knew they would have to make sure their students didn't end up on the Uchiha's warpath should something ever happen to Uzumaki Naruto. If what they heard right now was true, then the girl would definitely not rest until whoever manages to hurt the blonde was dead. It was bad enough for taking Uchiha Mikoto's bad side. They didn't want to deal with her youngest daughter's wrath too. The Hokage coughed into his fist. Anyway, this meeting is over for now. Make the preparation necessary for the upcoming exams. He then ordered in a serious tone. With that all done, the shinobis bowed and left the Hokage's office. The training ground 7. Hello, team, Kakashi exclaimed, appearing in the middle of the clearing. Fire style, great fireball jutsu. Water style, raging waves. Earth style, stone fist jutsu. Kakashi smiled at the usual spectacle of Sasuke and Naruto sparring. Shino was instead fighting Naruto shadow clones to avoid killing his bugs without reason. "Ohi sensei," Naruto greeted as the 3 genins stopped their training to get near him. "What was it this time? Some old lady wanting your help?" the blonde asked with a grin. Kakashi shrugged at Naruto. "A black cat crossed my road and I had to take the long route to get here. You know, bad luck and all. It's good you did it, or you could have sunshined into the middle of our spar." Suzuki smirked, crossing her arms. "So what now, sensei?" "New missions." "They do. But not right now," Kakashi said. "Now we have a chat. You had time to think about what happened in Wave, right? How do you feel?" Enlightened," Naruto answered first. "I knew that our team was stronger a little than the average genin. However, the mission made me realize that it is not nearly enough. Haku was very strong and as young as we are. Now I know that the academies and my clan's lessons are not enough. We still need more training and experience if we want to be alive in next high-rank missions." Suzuki glanced at Naruto. "And to get the power for protecting my precious people, I think I'm a little outclassed." Shino said. "Why do you ask?" "Naruto, you are so unpredictable and determined. I'm quite sure you're one of strongest genin in our generation. Suzuki, you managed to do effectively powerful jutsu during battle and have Sharingan. So I asked Tsunade for help. You can catch up in no time," Naruto exclaimed, giving him a thumb up. Suzuki nodded beside him. "Yes, without doubt you are much better than us at tracking." "Kakashi," I smiled. "I'm very proud of you. You handled the mission very well. You are more than ready for a true standard C rank. but we'll wait a little bit for that. I want to train you more extensively for a while. The Uchiha widened her eyes. No more chores. You have already a good teamwork, a respectable record, and a fair amount patience. We may still do some, but not every day. Kakashi said. Now, is there something you feel you need to learn? Or you want to? Sensei. Naruto intervened. Why don't you choose D-rank mission that can help us training? I dunno, something that requires lifting something heavy, for example. Good point. Kakashi said. I'll look out for them. Can you teach me kenjutsu? Suzuki asked instead. I asked One-chan, but sometimes she's busy with her ANBU missions. Kakashi chuckled. It's not my expertise, but I know someone who is good at kenjutsu on a par with your sister. I can ask her teach you the katas and you can practice them. You will spar with her every day to see your improvement. Suzuki nodded. Shino, would you like to learn how to use a weapon as well? Kakashi asked. It would be logical. Shino said. Probably a long-range one that can also adapt to close range though, should I find myself in a sticky situation. Suzuki and I are going to a weapon shop later. You could tag along. Naruto said. Browse a little with us. Kakashi, I smiled at the display of team boating. Just let me know, Shino. I suppose your clan will teach ninjutsu, and I can work with you on tracking. I know a couple of tricks about it myself. Good. I think I may focus on that. Shino fixed his eyeglasses. I really like it. Kakashi nodded in approval. It's good to see you are already finding your calling, Shino. He then turned to the two ninjutsu freaks of the team. Anything else? Because Suzuki and her family help me with fire ones and I can research about wind myself. I want to know about water techniques. Naruto informed. Can you help with that? Sure thing. Kakashi then looked at the Uchiha. I'm perfecting Dragon Flame Bomb right now, Suzuki stated. But my next goal is to become proficient with a lightning technique, at least be rank level as well. Kakashi nodded. I see. I will teach you my special technique. A lightning one, but not now because you need to improve many things, including your chakra control. The Uchiha nodded. All right, I think it's time to start. Shino, I'll start working with you on taijutsu, as always, but then I've a little surprise for you. Naruto, I'll be teaching you water techniques. Suzuki, we'll work on your skills with Fuma Shuriken. Hi, Sensei. The three genin met one another on the red bridge that allowed one to cross the small stream that intersected the training area. No longer did the Uchiha lean to one side and the adhering to the other. They stood together as they waited for their teacher. At the very least, they had united feelings on Kakashi's antics, especially the delay in alerting them about the exams. Shino looked over Naruto and Suzuki. They trained with Kakashi many times after coming back from the wave, and the adhering learned many useful things. He and Kakashi worked with his Ninken on tracking. Pakin, who was the smallest of them but the best tracker, hid in the woods and the boy had to find him without being detected, while the others both observed and gave pointers. Shino wasn't a close combat type, and he was better at assisting his teammate with some adhering clan techniques. Now he could fight with a weapon in one-on-one battle, not as good as Suzuki or Naruto, but at least he could defend himself in case his teammates couldn't help him. He would have to thank Naruto for this later. You alright, Shino? Is there something wrong? Naruto had picked up on his glance, even hidden behind his shades, bringing Suzuki's attention as well. Your bugs chatting too loud in your head? Shino just shrugged, and they knew it as the universal sign that he was fine. The Uchiha returned to talking to one another, mostly prepping themselves for the upcoming exam. It wasn't too long after the conversation took off that Kakashi chose that moment to appear above them on a nearby arch. The iconic puff of smoke made them turn their heads as he gave them a wave. Yo, you're late, Suzuki said in an annoyed tone, arms crossed. Kakashi raised an eyebrow, no shouting or threats. This was a change of pace for the Uchiha girl who often chose to use her mouth or force to show her point. Perhaps Naruto's influence had even affected that. Sorry, got lost on the road of… Well, you know by now. Naruto let out a chuckle while Suzuki and Shino gave a collective sigh. Kakashi quickly leaped down and approached their group. Out of his pocket, he quickly produced 3 invitation cards with their names printed on the front. With these, they would be allowed through to the first exam and participate, as long as they all attended with one another. These are your invitations to take the exams. They will allow you entrance to the first exam classroom. He explained as they looked over the cards with curiosity. The proctors will give you detailed instructions before you begin, so you shouldn't worry about being confused. Are you sure we're ready for this exam, sensei? Shino asked. I think you know how tough the Chunin exams is. Oh yes, Kakashi, I smiled. But I have the utmost confidence in your abilities to handle it. While it is without a doubt an intimidating process, you don't need to be afraid of it. Just think of it as another mission you need to complete and work through it as a squad, and you'll be fine. Naruto placed the card safely within his pouch. It was finally time for him to show what he could do. Kurama and Ashura's support and advice had kept him focused and training for something like this, and he knew it was the place to go all out, and maybe he would find something about his heritage. At least that was what he hoped. Suzuki smirked as she looked over her ticket. The implications of just a small piece of paper were not lost on her. With it, she could meet other strong shinobi and defeat them, spreading the name of the Uchiha as well as growing stronger with each win. Each win would lead her one step closer to finding the truth of her clan massacre and proved that she was in league with Naruto. For Shino, it was a test to see not only how far he had come since the academy, but to see if he could truly belong on his team. If he could prove that, then it meant he was on his way to becoming a great adhering, just like his father, a worthy teammate for Team 7. All right, team. Good luck. They watched as Kakashi disappeared as quickly as he came, leaving them all in a good mood with his rare encouragement. It was then that they were left to their own devices as long as they arrived at the academy in time. A quick check revealed they had about 2 hours before the first exam started, so they decided to take a stroll through town to relax their nerves. Naruto, Suzuki, and Shino were walking along the street from their training grounds toward the main town. With the Chunin exams beginning already, they could see foreign ninjas finding their own way through the city. Civilians were bustling about but kept to themselves more than usual, as if a bit suspicious of the unfamiliar shinobi. It was interesting for the genin to look at the other village equivalents of themselves, their different styles of dress to their height and age. I need to drop by my home for a while. There is something I need to take, Shino said. We'll see you later, Naruto replied. The adhering nodded and left then. Naruto and Suzuki keep going on until the blonde felt he was being followed. His brow began to twitch when the square rock that had been following him for a while still hadn't stopped following him. Someone who should know that rocks aren't square, Naruto remarked with a sigh. I knew I should have expected this from the man I chose as my rival. A voice exclaimed before the rock disappeared with a cloud of purple, blue, and yellow smoke. A lot of smoke. When it was cleared, 3 children were revealed. The one in the middle, who had a long blue scarf around his neck, coughed. You used too much gunpowder, he exclaimed before something even creepier took place. The one who possesses the sex appeal of an adult, the sexiest kunoichi from the senior group, Moegi, the girl with orange hair said, attempting a sort of cool move. The one who loves to divide numbers, Udon, the boy with huge glasses, and the village's number 1 genius, Konohamaru. And together we are the Konohamaru Corps. They shouted together. Naruto, who are they? Suzuki asked, a little freaked out. Some friends of mine. I help them with their training from time to time. What is it? Konohamaru. The 3 children used the puppy eyes no jutsu on him. You promised to play ninja with us today, boss. Konohamaru said. What sort of ninja plays ninja? A high-pitching voice asked. What's the point of it? Clad in her usual brilliant red dress, with her long pink hair, Haruno Sakura just got out of a nearby shop. Oh hey Sakura. Actually, it's a great experience for all of us, Naruto said. It helps my leadership qualities and their skills. Win-win. The pink-haired kunoichi looked at him with a strange expression. Until now, I still can't believe that the person in front of me was the dead last in the academy, she thought to herself. But it's also not wondering after what I heard from Kurinai-sensei and saw with my eyes. Sakura, after becoming genin and a member of Team 8. Kurinai managed to break the girl out of her fangirl mentality. Sakura focused on her kunoichi training seriously. Then she decided to made peace with Naruto. At first, she thought Naruto wouldn't accept her apology, as in all the years they were in the academy, She only ever thought of the boy as nothing more than a delinquent and a troublemaker. She always ignored him every time he tried to speak with her. She was so rude to him and even claimed that he was a bad influence on people. Waves of shame rolled over Sakura whenever she thought about it. However, Naruto surprisingly forgave her. With a cheerful smile, he said that she had nothing to apologize for as she was just badly affected by some mobs and civilians. He even helped her to make peace with Ino, and Sakura was grateful for that. Sakura was in Team 8, Ino was in Team 10, and Naruto was in Team 7, so they barely met, but Naruto sometimes helped them train their chakra control and a little taijutsu when they had free time. "Hey boss, who is the girl?" Konohamaru asked. "Oh, is she your—" "No!" Naruto exclaimed without thinking anything. "Surely not." "Damn right. This girl is much better." Konohamaru looked at Suzuki, nodding wisely. "That one is ugly, and she has a very big forehead." Naruto's eyes widened. "Oh damn, what did you say?" "Shinaro!" Sakura yelled in anger. "Run!" Naruto yelled. "Consider this part of your training." He and the three kids bolted as if their lives depended on it. Konohamaru quickly went ahead of them, increasing his speed. He was running so fast that he closed his eyes, and as a result, he violently collided with something. Or better yet, with someone. "That hurt," a rather tall boy said. He wore a black suit, with a hood that had cat-like ears. 2 purple lines were on his face. A little behind him, a tall blonde kunoichi was standing. Naruto, Moegi, and Udon stopped in their tracks, as well as Sakura and the Uchiha girl who followed them. I am sorry," Konohamaru stuttered. "Are you now? I think you should learn not to piss those superior to you," the weird-looking boy said, grabbing his scarf and raising him from the ground. "Kankuro!" The girl sighed, trying to stop him, but the now-named Kankuro didn't as much as pay attention to her and was beginning to raise his fist. Naruto then started to calmly walk forward, while keeping a serious look on his face. "Hey!" he started. This gained the attention of everyone present. "I would really appreciate it if you put down the kid," he stated with an edge on his tone. Kankuro only growled at another brat for being disrespectful towards him. "Oh, I'll put him down, and then afterward I'll beat you too," he growled in annoyance as he shook Konohamaru violently. "Because picking on kids half your size makes you so cool," Naruto said calmly. "Must be to compensate for your cat's ears and that makeup." "It's not makeup. It's war paint. Whatever makes you feel better." "Kankuro, stop messing around. If we are late, he will get angry again," the blonde-haired kunoichi said annoyingly. "Just give me a second, Temari. I need to teach these kids some respect." "I don't think you should." The black-clad genin felt someone behind him. "When you even can't sense me, so there's no chance you can harm even a single hair on his head," Shino said coolly. Temari's eye bugged out, because she hadn't even felt the new boy arrive. He was petite, but that did not make him less dangerous to a trained eye. Kankuro obligated and Konohamaru ran to hide behind Naruto's legs. The Aburame walked to beside his teammates as well. "Nice talk, Shino," Naruto said with a grin. "You come back pretty quickly." "Thank you for the shunshin, Naruto," the glassed boy replied. Kankuro was fuming. Those weak-looking midgets from Konoha had made look him ridiculous. He hated to use karasu so soon, but, "You damn brats," he hissed. "Kankuro, don't," Temari said. "Don't you try to stop me, Temari." Kankuro put his hand on his shoulder to access the weird-looking bandaged bundle he carried. "These kids need to learn to respect their elders. If you mess with the grandchild of the Sandaime Hokage in front of any Konoha nin, it will become our business," Naruto informed, making the guy's eyes go wide since he didn't know who the kid was. "Do you really want to start a war?" he said mockingly, causing Kankuro to feel a little bit of reserve and back down. The Suna shinobi grit his teeth in anger and frustration at his smug face. "Kankuro," a new voice drawled. It was cold and terrifying. "You're an embarrassment to our village." Naruto looked at the tree. There they saw a girl around Naruto's age who had long red hair. The girl was standing upside down on the tree branch. Naruto then saw that Kankuro and Temari to pale at the sight of the newcomer. Sara. "Naruto, that Sara girl has Shikaku the Ichibi in her. He has probably been driving his container crazy." Naruto's eyes widened. Ashura, where the hell have you and Kurama been? You guys haven't talked in weeks. The fox only scoffed. No offense, Kit, but your life is boring as shit. The study, train, missions, study, train, sleep, and repeat. Seriously, even your hobbies are boring. Meditation, gardening, and painting? Seriously, Kit, rob a bank, destroy a country, or even fuck someone for Kami's sake. Do something interesting. Kurama complained loudly. Naruto mentally rolled his eyes at the fox while Ashura face-bombed. I don't care if you think my life is boring. I don't exist to keep you entertained. Besides, you've been doing just fine the past few weeks, haven't you? You haven't exactly complained before. Especially after I changed the scenery in there. Losing yourself in a fight. How pathetic. Why do you think we came to Konoha? The redhead questioned as her voice lacked any sort of emotion. Listen, Sara. They started it and Kankuro tried to defend, pointing an accusatory finger at their group. Shut up, Sara said coldly, or I'll kill you. She finished mercilessly, making Kankuro flinch and shake. He stopped his actions and gave a step back, making Naruto, Shino, and Suzuki's focus go to the red-haired girl. Please forgive my brother's rudeness. She apologized, though her voice still didn't have a shred of emotion in it. No harm done, Naruto replied with easiness. Let's go, the red-haired girl said, turning on her heels. The other two followed her. Wait a second, Suzuki spoke out. What's your name? Sara turned again, slowly. She glared ahead. My name is Sabaku no Sara. I'm also interested in you three, she said, looking at Naruto, Suzuki, and Shino. Uzumaki Naruto. Nice to meet you. Aburame Shino. Uchiha Suzuki. Her smirk turned into a frown in Suzuki, then tensed when the redhead turned to her best friend, her hand putting on her ninja pouch unconsciously. You are strange but interesting too. Your blood shall feed mother properly once the time comes, Sara said emotionlessly, confusing the Shino and Sakura while the Uchiha narrowed her eyes at the strange girl. Naruto was still calm strangely. Temari Kankuro were leaving. Sara continued, this time apparently ordering her friends, if they were even that, around. The three Tsunanin turned around and started walking, Kankuro throwing two boys one final glare, before leaving with his teammates. Suzuki made a step forward, outraged, but Naruto stopped her by taking her hand. Let them go Heim. Suzuki glared at him, but she said nothing. She didn't know the reason why, but looking at that Suna girl too close to her best friend caused her to feel a burst uncomfortable, and she gave the Uchiha a bad feeling. She supposed she would ask the blonde idiot later. But why are Suna shinobis here? Sakura wondered out loud. Probably for the Chunin exams. There is more than one team from another village already in the village, and considering that it will start in a week, other teams like that one will probably get here sooner or later. The blonde boy replied in a calm voice, making Sakura scratch her head sheepishly at having forgotten about the exams. Her look then turned to a nervous one. After all, now she had seen a good look at the enemy, and she could easily say this Chunin exams thing was not going to be easy. Konohamaru, Moegi, Udon. Naruto called them with a smile. What about you three coming back to your home now? I promise I will teach you something awesome the next time we meet. The children jumped excitingly. Yes, boss. And they left. See you later, Sakura. The blonde grabbed Shino and Suzuki's hand, which made the raven-haired girl blush furiously, and vanished with the standard leaves, leaving Sakura a little speechless. On another group of trees, three genins watched the events unfold. Their headband had a musical note on them. What do you think? One asked. The one in the middle, whose face was partly covered by bandages, smirked. They do not look like much, he said, without noticing the bug flying around him. But we need to keep an eye on the black-haired ones and the blonde from Konoha, the one with a gourd from Suna, the Ninja Academy. Team 7 arrived at the academy for testing. A large congregation of higher-ranked shinobi was outside cheering their children genin on as they entered. A few shady individuals also hung around outside as they kept tabs on those entering. Most likely they were gathering information while the rest of their squad was inside acting normal. So, exam time, Suzuki stated with a confident tone as she walked the halls with her two teammates. The gate guards. Shino questioned when he saw Izumo and Kotetsu. Naruto smiled when he noticed the genjutsu they were casting. Looks like they're weeding out the weaker teams already. Suzuki scoffed. Should we called it out? The blonde shook his head negatively. No, that would only bring more competition for us to deal with. This is a way to filter those that could become Chunin from those that couldn't even see through such a simple trick. He told them as Suzuki and Shino nodded in agreement. The trio then silently snuck past the group of genins and stayed as far away from them as they could and continued to the examination room. Once they reached the next floor, they got to one big room. There was nothing really interesting in this room, so the members of Team 7 simply kept walking towards the other side of the room, in which another hall was. Wait! However, they were stopped by a rather loud voice coming from behind them, which of course made them turn around to find a group of people coming over to them, with the one who yelled at them actually running, and he had stopped just in front of the raven-haired girl. Suzuki twitched at the boy. What do you want? She asked in an annoyed tone. You are Uchiha Suzuki, right? The green-wearing guy asked with an excited voice, which got the girl to frown in confusion. Yeah, that's me. She answered swiftly. YOSH. I knew it was you, Suzuki-san, said the weird guy with an incredible amount of emotion. Then the guy's eyes actually burned with fiery passion. Please, Suzuki-san, let us compare the power of our youth right now in a fight. This declaration got even more bewildered expressions from the Uchiha girl, while Shino only raised an eyebrow and Naruto just sighed. Ho? Is that what you want then? A fight? Suzuki said, a smirk rapidly forming into her face. Naruto had to hold his groan back. Suzuki, we only have half an hour to make it to the exams. If we are late, we will be disqualified. He pointed out, hoping that this would help to avoid the fight. Don't worry, Naruto, Shino. I'll make this quick, she declared with confidence and activated her Sharingan. This made Lee smirk back as he was very happy that the Uchiha had accepted his challenge. Indeed it will be, he replied with equal confidence. The two genin then stood their ground for a moment as they prepared themselves for the fight when, wait! A female voice called out, getting everyone's attention. 10-10. Naruto thought as he realized the girl. Niji, he's over here. The girl 10-10 called out, Byakugan. So he is from the Hyuga clan. Shino thought, ahem. Everyone's attention was drawn to Lee as he got back into his fighting stance. I would like to resume my spar with Uchiha Suzuki, he declared as he was excited for his match with the Uchiha. Same here, Suzuki said as her smirk never lost its cockiness. I want to see how strong you are. 10-10 let out a low groan. Lee, she got out in an annoyed and embarrassing tone as she rubbed the back of her head, knowing that there was no way to stop him from getting the spar he wanted. Suzuki, Naruto called with a sweat drop. Man, this Uchiha was so stubborn and overconfident. Shino just watched silently while Niji was indifferent as two genins were about to begin. Uchiha Suzuki, are you ready for what possibly might be the most difficult and youthful fight you have ever fought? For as I, Rock Lee, shall give you a challenging challenge ever? He declared with passion and his eyes had fires in them. Bring it on, Suzuki responded as the two started their match. Good. Then let us begin. Lee charged at her with an impressive speed. The two started with a simple fist-to-fist combat to try and get a feeling of the other's fighting style. Suzuki was tempted to set a fire jutsu on Lee, but she had to resist not doing it or else her team wouldn't be allowed to take the exams after burning the place down. What did surprise the young Uchiha was that she figured out that Lee only used his chakra for taijutsu. This made the Uchiha realize that her Sharingan couldn't help much as the boy was much faster than her, making her realize that she possibly lose the fight if she was forced to only use taijutsu. This is going to be tougher than I thought, Suzuki thought to herself. Meanwhile, Shino, Naruto, and 10-10 got into their own conversation, while Niji looked on at the Uchiha and his teammates sometimes glanced at the blonde boy. Never think I would meet you in here, 10-10, Naruto said in amusement. It's not bad working in the store of my father at times, but you know I someday want to become a great kunoichi like Senju Tsunade-sama, she answered as she tightened her fist in excitement. That's a good dream to have, Naruto stated with a soft smile. But it doesn't really make me surprised. You're an impetuous girl who always makes every effort to get her dream, and I really appreciate it. He replied with a foxy grin. Thank you so much, Naruto. Tenten answered with a slight blush on her face. She met Naruto so much as he was the regular patron of her family's weapon store. Sometimes they trained together, but it was rare as Tenten had her team, but she couldn't deny Naruto was quite handsome and looked nice in her book. You know her, Naruto? Shino asked. Naruto nodded. She is Higurashi Jin's daughter. He answered, introducing the girl to his teammate. Higurashi Jin? You mean one of the best blacksmiths in the Land of Fire, the owner of the Higurashi weapon store. Naruto nodded again. I'm Higurashi Tenten. Nice to meet you, Tenten said, offering Shino her hand. Aburame Shino, Naruto's teammate. Nice to meet you too, Shino replied, shaking her hand. Tenten then turned to the fight with Niji just in time to see something she really wished she didn't. Lee, you're not going to do that, she shouted in fear. What they saw was both Lee and Suzuki in the air, Lee right under the Uchiha as the older boy had his bandages undo themselves. That idiot! Niji muttered in annoyance as he glared at his teammate and moved to intercept the two ninjas who were in the air. Just then, a kunai launched at and hit both of the loose bandages as they were now pinned onto the wall. What? Lee shouted at this action, making it impossible to continue his jutsu. Niji and Tenten became tense once he realized the situation. They looked around, finding who threw the kunai with dead-on accuracy, but they didn't see anyone suspicious. Suzuki still continued to fall from the effects of the previous hit. Naruto soon rushed in as he catch his teammate before she could hit the floor, while Lee landed safely as he pulled his pinned bandages. Phew, that was close. Are you alright, Suzuki? The blonde asked out of concern for her teammate's well-being. Yeah. A bit sore on my chin, but I'm fine, she responded and got to her feet, her bangs covering her eyes. That's gonna hit her ego hard, Shino and Naruto both thought. Tenten couldn't stop feeling surprised by the blonde's speed, while Niji was looking at him appraisingly. I know he's very good even at his age, but that speed, the kunoichi mentally appreciated. Interesting, but he can't win me, Niji thought, narrowing his eyes. That's his fate. Lee panted as he saw Suzuki was all right and could still continue the fight. Good, you are still able to go at it. So now he began as he once more took his stance. But, no, this is where the battle ends. An overly loud and excited voice called out, interrupting the fight. Then, a green blur dashed past the trio as it headed towards Lee. Dynamic entry, the same voice declared loudly. At that moment, everyone soon saw that the blurred looked to be an older version of Lee with the exact same jumpsuit, with the only difference being that he was wearing the standard Jounin jacket as he suddenly kicked the said boy in the face, sending him crashing into the wall and leaving a Lee-shape hole. Lee! The older Lee version boomed with a loud voice. What technique were you going to use just now? Didn't I tell you that technique was forbidden? He questioned with anger in his voice. Lee then finally recovered from the kick as he slowly stood up. I am sorry, Gai-sensei. It's just, he tried to say as he tried to come up with an excuse. He turned toward his teammates. Tenten? Niji. He called out to his friends for help. It's all his fault. Niji answered bluntly. He started it. Tenten nodded. Lee looked at his teammates as anime tears ran down his face. So mean. He got out with sorrow in his voice. Guy then looked over at Team 7, giving off a nice guy smile. So, you three are Kakashi's youthful genins that he's been bragging about? He asked the trio in an overexcitement manner. My name is Mato Guy. It's a pleasure to meet you. He then formally introduced himself to Team 7 while he gave a thumbs up and show off his big white teeth. You know Kakashi-sensei? Shino asked him with a curious tone. Know him? Guy repeated as Team 7 looked at him before he suddenly vanished. Ha! The three got out in surprise. People refer to us as eternal rivals, with a total of 50 wins and 49 losses. Guy finished after appearing behind the three. The trio was in a state of shock by the inhuman speed the Jounin had displayed. Of course, I have the 50 wins, Guy soon added while flashing his perfect teeth. I couldn't even see him with my Sharingan, Suzuki thought as she deactivated her eyes in the process. He is fast. maybe even faster than Kakashi-sensei and Naruto. Shino thought as he looked at the Jounin discreetly. So he is might guy. Naruto thought, thoroughly impressed with the Jounin's speed. I heard that even the ANBU captain couldn't fight back him in a taijutsu spar. Look like it's not just a rumor. I'm sorry about Lee's intrusion. Guy confidently apologized, giving a thumbs up. Shino shook his head as he regained his composure. No problem about that, Guy-sensei. He got out. It's nice to meet you, Guy-sensei. Naruto responded politely. Suzuki just simply bowed and looked away. Guy smiled as he let his teeth shine in the light. It's nice to meet you guys too. He greeted with much enthusiasm before then looking at his own genin. I suggest you get to the classroom as quickly as possible so you can participate in the exams. And Lee, we will discuss your punishment afterward. With that, I wish good luck to all of you. He encouraged as he then disappeared in a puff of smoke. Right. Guy's genin team responded as they started to head out. See you guys later. And sorry for all this. Tenten replied as she waved to them before leaving, followed by Niji. Shino and Naruto then noticed Lee rewrapping his hands to see multiple scars, signing that he trained extremely hard. I guess we're gonna have to work even harder if you want to pass this exam. Naruto said merely, and the adhering couldn't help agreeing with him. Lee then bowed to Suzuki once more. Thank you for this spar, as you are now a rival that I will possibly fight against, he stated as he left, rushing to the classroom. Suzuki just stared at the ground, taking a deep breath. I shouldn't have underestimated that guy, she thought, feeling disappointed in herself. At least it's a good wake-up call for us, especially you. After all, there is always someone stronger out there in the world, Shino said, trying to console the Uchiha as he saw her expression. Wrong way. Suzuki just gave him an angry glare. You don't need to tell me, bug boy, she hissed and walked to the classroom. Shino sighed at her stubbornness. Man, Uchihas and their pride, it would be awkward. Although Suzuki'd ever, and he didn't think she would say, the adhering knew her ambition was becoming stronger and surpassing their blonde teammate, Uzumaki Naruto, and she just lost another genin. Lee was strong, but Naruto was still better than he could see. Lee wasn't good at the strategy, which was one of his blonde teammates' strengths. It would be no wonder if Suzuki thought that she had no chance to fight back against Naruto, as she couldn't even defeat Lee. Will she be all right? He asked his blonde teammate. Yeah. She just needs some time to cool down her head, Naruto replied with a sigh. But that's kind of been a good lesson to her. Any obstacle can be surmounted. With that, they headed to the classroom and were ready to take up the challenge known as the Chunin exams. Team 7 walked on up the stairs with all the rest of the ninjas following them until they reached the door that led to room 301. Well, talk about the competition. Shino couldn't agree with Naruto more. And how much longer did you plan to brood section? Naruto asked as he turned to look at the raven head who was still looking down the ground. Come on. Just a small spar and that boy is really tough. Suzuki nearly snapped. Those words not only hurt her pride, but it means that Naruto didn't view her as a strong rival. Are you referring I'm weak, you dope? She growled under her breath, clenching her fists. No, you're not weak. In fact, only the idiots underestimate you, and it's no wonder you will be the Chunin after the exam. Naruto replied sincerely, which made her feature ease a little. But Lee is better than you a little. You know he can't use genjutsu and ninjutsu, just only taijutsu. This surprised both Suzuki and Shino. I saw some scars on his hands when he had bandages off. Looked like he had all worked way too hard. If I were his opponent, I'm really not sure I would win easily. The Uchiha was dumbstruck. Even Naruto didn't think that ridiculous green guy was an easy opponent, so the girl and the Hyuga weren't surely taken lightly. I never thought we would have such tough opponents. Ark, I have to keep trying or I will be left behind, she thought furiously. So you are two in this troublesome exam? The three turned their heads to recognize the new arrivals. Team 10 walked over with Shikamaru leading the charge. Naruto just scratched the back of his head and Shino remained silent. Not much of a choice, I'm afraid. Suzuki would have killed either of us if we forfeited. Not that we planned on it. He got himself a warning glare from his best friend. The lazy genius sighed at Naruto's proclamation. Yeah, well, good luck with that. If you haven't noticed. He hiked a thumb over his shoulder toward the rest of the participants. You've got a lot of people to go through before you get a promotion, including me. They turned to the new voice and saw Kiba arrive with Team 8, Sakura and Hinata in tow. Talking about Hinata, the girl had a crush on Naruto for a long time, but she was too embarrassed to even approach him, so she just secretly followed and looked at him from a distance. One day, Hinata plucked up enough courage and confessed her feeling. Although he was happy about her feeling, Naruto had to reject her confession as politely as possible. Hinata was a nice and cute girl. The blonde didn't give anything damn about comments aiming at her shyness. It was a normal thing for a girl, but he unluckily just viewed her as a friend. It, of course, grieved the Hyuga, but she understood the love should be not out of compulsion. Over time, Hinata became one of his friends and slowly moved on. Instead, she had her feeling for the mighty Inuzuka heir. Naruto didn't really like Kiba as he was very arrogant and dominant with girls, but it wasn't his position to tell Hinata's feelings, and the said boy immediately headed over to the other boys and smirked at Naruto. The blonde groaned. Why did the trouble always come to him? For the longest time, it seemed Kiba had something against Naruto, but he could not understand it until very recently. He had caught him sending glances to Suzuki and being properly ignored. It will be easier for me if Suzuki gives at least some attention to him. Kiba stood across from the blonde as he turned to face him. I think fangirl is very bad, but looks like fanboys are the same. Man, he's so blind that he really doesn't see his true girl. I was expecting this. I will let everyone see who is the real loser, Kiba said with a smirk. Suzuki scowled when she heard what the Inuzuka told. If there weren't lots of people here, she wouldn't hesitate to beat the crap out of him. The Uchiha always hated anybody who insulted or badmouthed her best friend. She admitted she usually called him dobe or idiot or anything, but only she could do that because they were close and best friends. People like that dog breath had no right to call him that. Shino felt the tension growing. He turned to look at his blonde teammate. Not surprisingly, Naruto still stayed calm, just merely looking at Kiba and then sighing. In case you don't realize, he started saying, "You're drawing attention to yourself, Kiba. The last thing we need is for everyone to hate us in this test. I think you have to be more intelligent than I think." Kiba growled at him angrily. "First chance I get, I'm going to destroy you. That will show everyone just how strong I am and prove I'm the right male for Suzuki." Naruto didn't miss a hint of pain flashing on Hinata's face. He narrowed his eyes. "I don't care what you will do to me, but Suzuki is not a dog. Don't talk about her like you own her." He then turned his back on the Inuzuka. "You're the heir of one of the royal clans in Konohagakure. Instead of seducing girls around you, you should work hard for proving that you're worthy for your future position, or you won't be no more than a spoiled brat with Inuzuka-sama's disappointment. For God's sake, I think Inuzuka Hana is a more appropriate future Inuzuka clan head than you." Akamaru felt his master's anger rise with his heaving chest, and he whimpered in response. Everyone gaped at Naruto's words, except Shino, who said nothing but silently agreed with him, and Suzuki, who was smirking. She knew that Naruto was friendly and kind. Sometimes he behaved like an idiot and a dobe, but he was smart and knew what he was saying. Surely there was still a bit of a joke in there sometimes, but there were times he was serious. Naruto was never afraid of anything or anyone, even that was the Hokage or the head of a big clan. Now he was proving that by throwing severe insults at Kiba, the heir of Inuzuka clan, without hesitation. Meanwhile, Kurama and Ashura were grinning proudly. They were satisfied with Naruto's rejoinder to the dog boy. "He's good, but he should know there is someone whom he shouldn't mess with," the Otsutsuki commented in amusement. "You man good dog? Wahahahaha." Kurama began to laugh his ass off, which made Ashura and Naruto both sweat drop. "You should quiet down," a gentle voice said. "Besides, gathering in big groups make you look weak, and may also irritate someone. Aim Ninja, for example, is known for their short tempers." Naruto's olfactory senses immediately a fetid smell which gave him a bad feeling. "And you are?" he inquired with a firm tone. "Yakushi Kabuto."